person talking about love, man, brother, is the preacher. And it seems nobody's interested in learning but the teacher.
What's sign off mean?
Hey, where can we find you all at?
Is this some like radio talk?
Back before there was actually television, you used to just listen to the radio for shows.
No, I used to do that.
Did you listen to World of Worlds and stuff?
No.
You got all excited for a second. No.
We haven't been together for a few weeks, so
I know,
it's
I
probably
was just figuring it out this morning. I was like, man, it's been like 3 weeks since we
Kind of enjoyed not being around you fucks.
But me and him had some quality time. We got to hang out with some Russians. Like, I feel like I might be better
Yeah,
friends with Jeff than you know.
Who's Adrian?
We got to have truffle fries together.
God, yeah.
I met the Russians.
Like, oh, hey.
I met the Russians. I met the Mexicans. I met the Asians. Fuck Adrian.
Hey, Chalk Talkers. Such a dick. Welcome back. We are here today. Finally, we got the whole crew back together.
Reunited.
After a couple of weeks doing our own things. Today, we're going to talk about cutting weight. Hopefully, Jaron won't sing anymore. But there's a few things we need to talk about since we have been away for a while. Jaron, I want to talk to you, number one, about the Blazers. Because Rip City. Last time we were together, you wore his jersey. This is the hoop ball, yes.
Hoop ball.
You wore that fancy jersey.
I did. I felt real good. I felt real good.
So you can go ahead and throw that away. That's no good anymore.
I may still wear it like. So here's what I want to know because, and I know the answer is already gonna not work in my favor because I've been judged by my wife for this already. Why can't I just like keep wearing it even though he's not on the team? Can't it be like, you know what? I've already invested my money into the Blazers franchise. Like I want to know what's gonna happen because I got this on still.
Sure.
But I left the sticker on like a real black guy. So
right? Yeah, I saw it.
that should be should count for something.
So see, what will happen is if you keep the jersey on of the player that doesn't play there anymore, you look like the white trash people that couldn't afford the jersey when he actually was there, so they bought it for $10 after he left.
Well, that's
like if you see the people that wear the old ones, they you know, I'm not gonna judge, but yeah, you could judge and say that maybe they were of the lower status, or maybe it's that kid that throws rocks at your car 2 blocks down the street that his parents are smoking a cigarette, yell, "Hey, quit doing that." That's the kid that wears the Nicholas Batum jersey after he's gone.
You think there's any way we could talk him into just using masking tape and change it to a different jersey number?
Yes! We could.
That would be awesome.
That's the. I had a similar situation though. Like I finally, because I'm a Ravens fan, and so I finally broke down. I was like, I'm gonna get myself a jersey. I was like, you know, this Ray Rice dude, he's the shit. Straight up gonna get me one of these jerseys, and I was like, yeah. Got a Ray Rice jersey. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to be awesome. All the kids are going to want to be me. This is so cool. Oh, shit. Well,
yeah.
It must be like, because usually there's $70, and I don't care enough about sports to spend $70 on a shirt. I was like, I'll just not wear one.
What I would say is for your jersey, around the house, yeah, of course, wear it. I don't even know if I would wear it to, right, I don't even know if I'd wear it like to the 7-Eleven real quick. Like I'd put on a different shirt.
No, I would put on a different shirt anyways because I don't like the person that I feel like I am wearing a jersey to a 7-Eleven.
Well, plus like, you don't want to drip the nacho cheese on your jersey.
No, I don't want to look like somebody who like hangs out in a plaid pantry for fun.
Yeah,
sure.
Every time I go there, I feel like my shit's either really together or on the edge of falling apart completely. I could just be stopping in there for just a quick tasty beverage, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should turn back now. Maybe I need to go to an inconvenience store.
The most judgment I've ever got at a 7-Eleven, I used to work graveyard, so I'd get off at 7 a.m. Well, in Oregon at 7 a.m., that's when they start selling alcohol again. So cool, I'm off work. Who doesn't want a beer in their backyard, right? So I'm getting a bag of Doritos and a 22 next to 4 people getting a cup of coffee and a donut for the morning. What's up, guys? I'm going to go do some drinking.
This is how I start my day.
Well, I'd like to talk a little bit about LaMarcus Aldridge for a second.
Yeah.
So after 9 years as a Blazer, last season he said he wanted to be the best Blazer ever, and in this year signs with San Antonio with us getting nothing in return. And so I read a lot of stuff about the Blazers. I hear a bunch of stuff about how Blazer fans are pissed off. He's got the right to leave. He made that decision. It's a little disheartening because he was a hell of a player. I would have liked to see him retire here. I wish sports would go back to that, where whoever you get drafted with, if you're a good player, you stay with that team and then you retire there. I don't think we'll ever get back to that. I think LeBron and the Yankees and things like that have screwed up sports, but best of luck to him. San Antonio, when Popovich starts yelling at him on the bench like he does everybody else, he'll break down and start crying, and he'll want to come back to Portland.
Well, I don't know if he'll break down quite that quick and want to come back to Portland, only because he'll enjoy only having to play 20 minutes a game and have Popovich sit him and rest him a little bit. I mean, as a career standpoint, going to San Antonio for him is the right move to make. He gets to follow up behind Tim Duncan for his last year, maybe 2 of his career. You get to work with, arguably the best coach in the NBA.
You have to understand, though, cutting your minutes back like that is going to hurt your statistics.
It will.
So you're not going to be a 28 and 10 or 12 guy anymore. Now you're an 18 and 7 guy. He's got to be able to swallow that. He won't make the All-Star game with those kind of numbers.
I think it'll make it easier to swallow with that ring, though.
Oh,
you win that championship, everything kind of gets a little easier.
What do you do to make it so easy to swallow?
Drink Visa.
Oh, drink Visa.
There you go.
All right.
All right, one other thing before we get into the real meathead type stuff. Going on right now is Comic-Con, or actually just got over with.
Yeah.
A couple of really, really cool trailers got released. Oh, shut up, I'm going to talk about these for just a second. We got to see a new trailer for Batman vs. Superman. They released quite a bit.
I heard.
The thing that cracks me up about that is, like, I show people that don't read comics at all or know anything of the backstory or anything. I showed them the preview for Batman v Superman because I was all like, Batman v Superman, this looks awesome. And I wasn't very stoked after the first preview. The second trailer comes out, I'm like, okay, this looks awesome.
This looks like a movie.
And so I showed it to my dad, and he sat there, watches the whole trailer. When it ends, he looks at me and goes, "Why?" Like, I feel that, like, Batman versus Superman is stupid because Superman just like, no. And I'm like, well, you got to understand the whole dynamic.
Right, there's a whole bunch to it.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't.
What is the dynamic? Because I don't know.
Well, so all right, so listen, weird, but a scene that they actually didn't show in the first Superman, the remake, the last Superman that they did. At the end credits, there was supposed to be a scene showing Wayne Manor or Wayne Technologies get a ton of kryptonite, which kryptonite is the only thing that can stop Superman. So when we see Batman in this metallic suit, this big old suit, that suit is actually lined with kryptonite. So that's how he's going to be able to effectively battle Superman.
Right.
Don't give me that look like I'm the biggest nerd in the world. Just sit there for a minute. We're almost done.
Pretend like you're interested. So why exactly?
I
why is
care about
Batman
this
fighting
football.
Superman? Why is Batman fighting Superman?
Because in the last Superman movie, Superman destroyed the city trying to save the world, and he happened to destroy Gotham City was a part of it. Wayne Technologies got destroyed.
Why? I hate it when that happens.
So we get to see some backstory of Batman watching his city get destroyed, get pissed off, be like, no, I'm not letting that happen.
Is there a training
That's what brings
montage?
them
Yeah, of course, right. Did you not watch the newest trailer? I mean, there's one scene where Batman's pulling a tire hand over hand with a rope.
So
and
it
if
is
I'm going to
CrossFit.
go fight Superman, what I think about is I'm going to go train CrossFit, do a tire pull, and I'm going to be jacked, and I'm going to go punch Superman in the
I did
face.
see the trailer, and it did look kind of cool. It looked like there was some cool fighting scenes.
I had heard some shit about the new Joker used to be Robin or something.
Well, that's
Did
the
you-
newest theory, yeah.
Oh, there's theories. They should know it's not real. It's not. Oh, what's our new theory? I don't know. Somebody made this shit up.
well,
Just ask him.
But comic books are very much like weightlifting in the way of, there's all these federations. People are like, well, I don't want to deal with his weight class, so I'm just going to do it over here.
Yeah.
Well, that's what writers do for comic books. They think, oh, this guy really messed up Batman. I don't want to follow his story.
I'm gonna
I'm
start
going to
a
write
whole
my
new
own Batman.
Totally start our own comic book.
Well, and then since you're bringing up the Joker, then we can always just go right into the Suicide Squad trailer.
Thank
which,
you for that.
yeah.
And that looked okay.
Yeah, I was pretty
Yeah.
stoked on that. Like, I mean, I talked to a couple of my friends that are comic book nerds, and they were all like,
So
they started to argue about like how it's laid out and like the way the fact that you've got Will Smith playing, the Deadshot and stuff, and they're like, well, you've got this really popular actor filling in for a character now. It's like you can't really typecast him and stuff, and trying to go forward in the DC universe. Are you going to be able to keep Will Smith involved as Deadshot and stuff like that? And it was just kind of like, shut up, nerd. We're going to watch this movie.
So what's that movie supposed to be about? What characters?
So it's a collection of characters. The whole premise of the movie is it's basically they organize a squad, like a team of supervillains. So you've got like Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Killer Croc. Who else is there? Like the what's that?
This is the ninja. I don't
Yeah,
remember her
and
name.
then the Hex girl or whatever.
Yeah, that's the ninja
Yeah.
chick though.
Well, yeah.
Cool. So today on Talk.
I'm glad we've gone 9 minutes and you haven't said me personally yet.
Because I'm a master now. I've learned this
Oh.
whole talking thing.
Work through your speech impediment.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been trying to slow down so I don't say as much. I've been working on it.
Well, that sounds retarded.
It's the power of being shamed publicly.
But it's the whole thing is
I'm
with
sorry.
the Suicide
It's okay.
Squad is they're
Oh, so we're
a
still
government
on that.
agency recruiting all these
I
supervillains
was
to make
really
a
hoping
team
that
to
would
go
be just
fight
like a transition.
and kill things and die, and they don't care.
Try it again.
So there's that
So
one.
bullet point number 2.
So Jared, how was your week? So I can pretend to be entertained.
I don't want to talk about my week.
What happened to your eye?
I don't know. I probably ruptured lots of blood vessels.
It was from a
Lifting
CrossFit
heavy.
WOD.
Oh, makes
I was
sense.
doing crazy leg extensions. I don't want to talk about it. Pretty much half the stack for like sets of 35.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, with band tension.
Yeah.
Reverse band tension.
I actually.
So it's harder at the top and not so much at the bottom.
So have you been watching that James Gregory then?
No, but I was watching. I don't remember his name. It's this one dude, and he was doing. Oh my god! He was standing on 2 boxes. He had 2 45-pound plates hanging from a dip belt. He had 135 on the bar, and he had like a 20-pound chain on each side, but the chains never touched the ground.
Nice.
And he had a 40-pound chain around his neck.
Is that Jimmy
Squatting.
Pacifico?
I don't know.
Or-
I don't think
I was
so.
going to say, this
No.
sounds like something I
Yeah.
would have been doing.
See, I thought your eye was red because you were celebrating the new law changes in Oregon, but it's
No.
not.
I
Gay
don't.
marriage?
Well played.
All right, well, we're going to go on. Today we're talking about cutting weight. We're going to go through advantages, disadvantages, ways to do it, when to do it, why to do it. First, let's see, who wants to tackle this first?
Well, why don't we
Well,
start with
probably
the
we
fattest
should
guy
talk
here?
about. Yeah, I was going to
Fattest
say
guy.
the fattest guy here should probably
Well,
start.
since you've never cut weight in your life, I guess I'll start.
Oh, I don't worry about cutting weight. I just get stronger.
All right, Adrian, so what kind of advantages are we talking about when we cut weight?
Well, for me personally,
Well, let's go ahead and up the ante here.
I only cut weight specifically when I'm chasing goals.
So 2006.
For a long time, I just kind of walked around at whatever weight and then would just weigh in, and it didn't matter because at the time I wasn't chasing like an all-time record. When I got to the spot where specific goals were in mind, like benching a certain amount of weight at 242 or 220, I specifically started worrying about cutting weight. Still had to train at a higher weight class, but the day before I tried to cut. So that was the advantage for me. I don't recommend it for somebody to do it every competition. It's not what it's designed for. It's, really you want to just do it a couple times a year. And, I didn't do it personally for any other reason other than specific goals at certain weight classes. It sucks.
Jared, what about you?
I've cut weight most of the time, so a lot of them unsuccessful just because I tried to pull off too big of a weight cut. But I've done it just because I'm not a world-class level of strength, so I feel like...
I get down to 132, I'm
Yeah.
competitive.
I would kill it in the 165. So no, and my body weight always sits like right in the middle of 2 weight classes, which is shitty because
Which is 308 and super heavyweight.
yeah, or possibly 275. More on this later. So I sit right now I just hang around 250, but most of last year I sat right around 260, a little bit over. So I was like, well, shit, I'm too small for a 275, but I'm too fat for a 242. So what makes the most sense is starving myself for one day, and then just making it to 242. But I've had mixed success with that. I don't really recommend people cut more than 5% at the very highest end. And you don't need to be cutting weight for local meets. There's no point.
Right. When
Nobody-
you're chasing a
Yeah.
1,100 pound
It really
total.
doesn't matter when you're the only person in your freaking weight class anyways. Like,
If you're-
oh, I cut 22 pounds to compete against myself.
If your woman outlifts you, you don't have to cut weight either.
Oh, that's cool.
Statistically speaking.
I'm gonna have
So I mean, is that what we're really like the main advantage of cutting weight is just to
heavier body weight.
get you into a better class, better spot for whatever goals that you're
Better
going
world
after.
score, yeah.
And what about
And that's generally like what I tell my athletes and stuff is if they're chasing like that world record or that all-time record or something and they're right there, then it's like, okay, let's cut weight till I get to that weight class. If you're like, I'm going to get, as Adrian said, I'm going to get 1,100 pounds, then who cares?
Right.
Just go
And you
lift
put your
weight.
body through a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not designed to go through that. And then it also starts messing with you mentally. Especially
Yeah.
like when Jaron says, the first thing that popped in my head when he said, you know, I was unsuccessful, is then when you really prepare yourself for a big cut, you're going to fail because you're thinking in the back of your head, I've failed so many times at this.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, it's a huge mental win when you step on the scale and it says what you want it to say.
Right.
You feel, ooh, that wasn't that bad, right? It's kind of like going to Disneyland. When I'm not at Disneyland, I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty cool. I want to go back. When I was there, I was like, I'm never going back there again. Cutting weight is very similar. It's when you're doing it, you're like, this is the worst thing in the world. And I'm
Yeah.
never going to do it again. But after you accomplish it, you're like, well, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I can do it again. So the big thing for me, especially for people that are even considering to cut weight, is you know, if you're going to do it, make it manageable. You know, start off with maybe 5 or 10 pounds first, and then, you know, whatever, then make bigger cuts. But always be successful. If you make that turn to say, yes, I'm going to cut weight for a competition, you got to see it all the way through. You can't quit. There's not a time where you say, well, this is too difficult, I got to quit. Because then you quit every time.
Well, that's for me because I did used to cut weight when I was fighting, but I would walk around
make sure
at
that-
215. So I'd only have to do because I'd fight at 205. I'd
10
only have to
pounds.
do a 10-pound cut, which was not a problem. And that's what finally transitioned me into the strength sports. Was when I got injured outside of fighting. I was out of training for like a year. I still ate like I was training 6 hours a day.
Right.
And I just got fat. So then I was like 250 pounds, and I'm like, okay, well, time to get back in shape. And I start like trying to jog, and I'm like, this is stupid. I'm just gonna get stronger.
Right.
Running's for losers. I'm not gonna do it anymore.
I do think that you should practice weight cutting. I know that sounds not shitty, but you know, at a smaller meet or something, because you need to learn how your body responds to being put through that stress. You need to learn how your mind can handle being put through that stress. I know some people that, you know, are good candidates for cutting a small cut, and I know they can't hack it mentally. So I'll just tell them, you know what, write it out. Doesn't matter. Either commit to growing into the next weight class or don't, you know, and just stop being fat. But not everybody can handle that stress of being, you know, put in a sauna for a couple hours. Or I've had people lose their shit after just telling them not to eat carbs for 3 days.
So Jaron, you keep saying the stress, the mental stress of it. You know, what parts of that are what are probably the ones that hit people the most? Maybe is it the lack of food? Is it the physically being tired that mentally drains you?
For me personally, the worst is the sauna, because I came from a bodybuilding background, so I'm pretty good at starving myself intermittently. So like not having carbs for a little bit, that's no big deal. Not really eating for a day and a half, that's not really that big of a deal. But once you kind of put all those things together and you haven't eaten for a day and a half, haven't had water for a day, and then you're sitting in a sauna for multiple hours, that's miserable because it's just hot and sad, and I'm alone and I don't have the attention span to be locked in a
Look,
box.
we don't have time to go through your whole life right now. We're just talking about weight cutting.
This
And
is
no
a
one loved
therapy.
me, and then everyone left, and then they all laughed at me.
Here's
that's
the
the
one
worst
thing that
part.
really bothers me. Life still goes on when you're cutting weight, right? So you still may have to go to work.
Yeah.
The kids still have to eat. You know, girlfriend still has to eat.
Mm-hmm.
All those things still have to happen, right? And so the best example for me is I go in the sauna and I'm cutting for a competition. I think I'm going to break the all-time record. So I sit in there and it's miserable, right? I'm having heart palpitations. My shirt is like going like this because my heart is beating so hard, probably at 150 beats a minute. I go home, and just to muster up the energy to walk into the door was enough. And Courtney is baking brownies for me. The whole
You
house
know how
smells like
bad of a
brownies.
story this is? Because he's told it in
I
like
know.
5 episodes.
I was gonna say,
We've
I
only
just-
done 10
I was
episodes.
listening to
He's like,
that
look, so
episode.
she's
He
making
just went over
brownies.
this.
She's making
Like,
brownies.
But that's how
okay?
bad it was. Like, you know, you're starving, you're thirsty. I mean, I seriously contemplated drinking pool water when I'm sitting in the sauna. You know, it's like life is over. Then when you walk into the door,
Walk home
And-
5 miles uphill after sitting in the sauna for 3 hours.
it's horrible. You know, and then other stories of like flying out of town. I always cut weight here and then fly, and
Oh, God.
and it's
That's-
miserable.
yeah,
it's
that sounds-
miserable.
oh,
You
man.
know, you're walking through the airport and you're sweating because you know everything is just your whole body is just
Yeah.
in fatigue, and it's miserable. I mean, it's the worst ever.
I had a water load while traveling one time. That was horrible. Having to piss every 5 minutes, and we were flying back from Vegas, of all places, the week before, and I'm water loading and not eating carbs and salt
Yeah.
in Vegas, and it's hard enough to find water there. But I'm water loading there. We're water loading at the airport. I'm peeing every 5 minutes. I spent like $32 on bottled water, and the girl, because you can't bring your own water, and I had to throw my bottle out. And the girl that ran the kiosk, she's like, "Do you really want this?" I was like, "I need to have it." She's like, "It's $9. Do you really want this?" I was like, "I really need them." So I slammed those, and we hit turbulence. I peed right before we got on. We hit turbulence for an hour and a half.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm sitting there, it's like, it's shaking, my bladder's shaking the whole time. I'm like, "Oh, motherfucker, let me out of here. Just turn the light off, turn the light off, turn the light
You
off."
should have just pissed in the puke bag.
Are they? Ooh.
That's what I would have done.
Hold on.
Damn.
Whoa, you two went ooh like into the light bulb. Do not piss
You
in
are-
the throw-up bag.
I'm
No.
gonna
are you
patent
do
pen that.
Adrian is so smart.
You just blow it up and put it in the little thing in front
Yeah,
of you.
nobody would even see it.
Yeah.
They're wax line?
You guys just agreed with him so fast on that's a terrible
Well,
idea.
obviously, like there is a thing of when you become a fat ass and you try to go into the little fucking bathrooms on the airplane. It's like, ugh, let me try to piss in here, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
man,
So
it'd be
the
so much
better
more
option
comfortable.
is
Yeah,
to
just
sit
pee
in
in
the
the bag.
uncomfortable chair.
You don't have
pull
to
the
get
bag
up.
out and do
No, you
this.
just half the time I wear gym shorts. I don't even have to zip it.
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
pull it
man.
down and
Or you could just always wear diapers.
That's
Oh,
true.
if any of you ever pee while we're doing this podcast underneath
I
this
do.
table,
I
pee
I'm
right
gonna
now.
be so mad.
I'm totally gonna do it.
Anytime I'm sitting like this, it's because I'm peeing.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is good shit.
All right.
so those are kind of
So cutting weight.
Back to, so when you guys talk about the cutting weight, obviously there's got to be certain ways to do it.
yeah. There's different strategies.
Now, because I've done like a juice fast before, where I went a full week with just juice.
Oh my god,
And
did it
that's-
work?
All right, look, I took somebody's advice that maybe I shouldn't have.
Oh my
Tried it
god.
out.
My
Yeah.
girlfriend tried it, and then she's like, "You have to try my cleanse."
It actually wasn't my girlfriend, but at
was
the
his
time
beach buddy.
I wanted to see. Well, I wanted to see if I could do it, but I had then heard afterwards how horribly unhealthy that is and how really bad for your body.
So you
it is
decided to
do
keep
that.
going with the cleanse anyways.
Well,
Well, like,
I mean, I had to finish the week. But so what's a good way then to do this? You know, we're talking about the people who should do it are the ones preparing for competition. So how do you continue to prepare for a competition while cutting weight?
well, there's a couple different strategies with it. One is just don't be that far out from your weight class in the first place.
You're asking a guy that fails.
Hey, no, I was successful a few times.
Oh, okay, all right. Go ahead and finish.
So, first of all, maybe that can be my line. Like, first of all, because I feel like I'm always defending myself.
Can you say it more like Mr. T though? First of all,
First of all, motherfuckers. Secondly.
All right, so
Somebody else
let's get back to our point. So Jeff, what's a good way to be cutting this weight to make sure that you continue your training while cutting?
Generally, like I try to do when I have athletes doing weight cuts, because like they all say down here at this end of the table, fatty end of the table. I generally
308.
I generally don't cut weight for myself because in the strongman sport, it's basically if you're over 231, you're just a heavyweight. So it's like, who cares?
So you don't feel like cutting 70 pounds?
Yeah, I'm not gonna cut 70
You gonna
pounds.
get you in the sauna?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can do it.
Yeah, that sounds like a great
well,
cut.
for you too, a lot of for your sport is leverages,
Right.
and so you try to figure out where your body's going to be at. Because I'd imagine you don't try to bloat before a competition.
No, I generally don't before a competition. I'll I'll generally cut back on my salts as
Yeah.
I'm going into a contest, like the week of a contest and stuff like that. But I really, for me personally, going into a strongman contest, I'm more worried about, like, I want to make sure where my body's at and how my body feels, and where my leverages are, like you're talking about, and stuff like that. Because I know losing weight, because I got up to 320 because I was in that whole mindset of weight moves weight. I'm just gonna get bigger. Who cares about, like, conditioning? And I'm gonna be winded walking down the street, going from my couch to the fridge. I'm gonna run out of breath, but it's okay because I can, go lift a bunch of weight. And honestly, I didn't lift as much weight. I mean, I lifted more weight, but it wasn't as effective as I was thinking. So I, leaned out a little bit more, and I noticed that my leverages immediately changed leaning out, which made all of my lifts, I had to kind of relearn how to do a lot of my lifts, because it was like I didn't have the same leverages, I didn't feel the same. And when I've got my athletes doing weight cuts for powerlifting, or if they're really trying to do a crazy cut for strongmen, I generally punch them in the face. But
How many pounds did they lose from that?
normally about 15.
Okay.
But I generally have everybody start with, like, water loading, and then start to increase salt at first, and then start to decrease the salt, but keep the water up, and then decrease the water the last couple days, and really hit the sauna, and no food that last day, and watch them be completely miserable and laugh. And of course, since I'm such a great coach, I always buy myself donuts, and so I'll just be sitting there eating donuts while they're, like, miserable and dying. Like,
Hang out with Courtney.
yeah, one of my athletes, just going into the Oregon Feats of Strength, she was sitting in the sauna for like 2.5 hours, and she's like, can you come pick me up? And I was like, sure. So I drove over to the sauna. She got in the car. We're driving to go to the weigh-ins, and I'm literally driving the car with a dozen donuts in my lap. Like, how you feeling? You feeling good? She's like, I hate you so much. I'm like, it's great. It's
Dixon
great.
Donuts.
Yeah. I'm like, let's go jump in that. Let's go see what
Such a
you weigh.
clothing line.
Yeah.
But, so I try to do a little bit of that, like, early on sodium loading with all the water loading, then start to cut the sodium out so the water starts to flush everything out, and then slowly cut it back on the water so that as you hit that sauna, you can really sweat everything out and do that just heavy cleanse, and then cut back on food and stuff and just be miserable.
Now, when you say water loading, are we talking about, like, do you give people a set amount? I want this many ounces of water drinking in the day, or is it a?
But then it's also how you space it out too. I'm one of the guys, and I'm really bad at. I will drink a lot of water at once and not spread it out. Whereas when you're water loading, it's very important to space your water out. You don't want to drink 60 ounces and go, cool, I'm good for 4 hours.
Sure.
You want to space it out so that it's a little more even.
So why don't you run us through the week before a meet, and we'll kind of take a look at everybody's different strategy as far as water manipulation.
I have to go first because I was going to take your guys' good ideas. And
And then go
Hey,
with
look,
conclusion.
I was
But
hoping
think
to
you,
do the
remember,
opposite.
you are the one that all somebody had to do was call you fat and say you couldn't get to 200, and you got to 200. So
Yeah.
I think, you do need to go first on this
Yeah.
one.
All right. Thanks for making fun of me,
I get
guys.
called fat, and I go, you're probably right.
So,
I
for me, what I like to do is the week of, I spend kind of the weekend mentally wrapping my head around it, right? Like, I really like to do the mindset training, specifically right before I go and train, but I kind of start wrapping my head around it the weekend before. So Monday through Wednesday, all I do is load salt and water, and it's just crazy, drink. I try, the idea, and I always do a contest with somebody, I pick somebody who's stupid enough to do this and say, let's see who can drink more water throughout the day. Ideally, I'd like to get over two gallons of water per day throughout that week. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Come Wednesday, I knock all my salt out, super low carb, low calories, and I start bringing the water down to roughly about a gallon, maybe just a touch less. By Thursday, probably about 10 in the morning, I cut everything out. No food, no water, nothing. So typically that day I'll wake up, I will slam a cup of coffee, I will drink as much water as I can between the time I woke up and 10 a.m. and then I shut it down. By Thursday night, I kind of figure out where I'm at. Now, thinking I'm going to get to probably 4 to 5 pounds less than where I'm at when I wake up in the morning. I'll get up 4 in the morning, because we'll typically weigh in like around 9. I'll get up at 4 in the morning, go to the sauna, start sweating it out. Typically you'll start sweating really good, so always my first session, I go as long as I can. I will, to the point where you feel like you're going to pass out, and then I'll start doing 15 in, 15 out until I make weight.
What's the longest you ever sat in the sauna for? Like consistently, didn't get out. What's the longest you went?
Oh, I would be guessing, but probably hour and 20.
Cool.
While I was doing a dumbbell circuit in their front raises and side raises, because I originally went in for my first cut, and I didn't start sweating right away. I panicked, so had somebody go grab me some dumbbells, and I started doing front raises and side raises in there. And with 5-pound dumbbells, let me tell you, I started sweating. I thought I was going to throw up. I mean, it wasn't good.
What about you, Jeff?
I do the exact same rotate. Well, no.
Weird.
Weird. No, that's what I already.
Shit, now I should have gone first.
You know what's funny is I do the exact same
No,
thing too.
when it comes to weight cutting, it's a similar thing, except generally, depending on where people are at that Thursday night, I might throw them in the sauna that Thursday night. Like, if they're way too heavy, then it's getting that sauna that Thursday night, and it is detrimental. It is also the thing of it really. It's really determined off of when that weigh-in is, because there's a lot of times where there isn't the morning weigh-in. If there's no morning weigh-in, then I'm still going to try to get them in the sauna that night if they're really too bad. And if they wake up in the morning and it's one of the things I like to tell people is if you wake up in the morning and you still need to cut like 10 pounds, just eat a donut.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're going to be put through hell.
Yeah.
And that's so what I was saying, and maybe I wasn't clear on, is when I would get down to 220, if Thursday night I was 230, 232, maybe 233, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
If I was anything more than that, then I would go to the sauna Thursday night.
Right.
I like to only put my body through that for a short amount of period as possible. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I guess if I was 15 pounds over, I'd be there Thursday.
And
night.
I've done the one that I think is the shittiest is doing I need to do a heavier cut, so you go in that sauna and you start doing shadow boxing because I'm not sweating enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I start I would
so
shadow
bad.
box for a while, and I'm like,
like,
I'm just gonna kill myself. This
Yeah.
is horrible. I hate everyone. I hate everything. And then it's like, if anybody was in the sauna with me, I'd probably just start punching them in the face because I'm like, you're doing like a violent art, and like you're kind of like punching the air, and you're miserable.
Here's
And
this
it's like,
poor old guy
yeah,
just
you're
trying
like,
to hang out in the
there's
sauna.
some old dude just
Just shadow boxing,
hanging out in the
nothing but a
corner.
towel.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm in like full sweats, like, yeah, I got this. Okay. And I mean, that's also the thing is if it's when it comes to doing the sauna, if I have, it depends on where my athletes are. If they're like a couple pounds over, I don't even worry about doing full sweat, stuff like that. It's like, just hit the sauna, we'll be in there for a little bit, and then we'll just take that weigh every 15 minutes or so, go see where we're at, and then once we're like, I try to get at least like a pound or two under, just to be on the safe side, because scales are always a little bit different. But if they're 5 pounds or more, it's all right. Get in your sweats and let's go be miserable.
Something I think is important too for somebody who's going to do this on their own. I'm coaching a guy right now trying to get him down to 165, and our diet's on point right now. He's going to have to do this water manipulation, which will be easy because I'll be there to help coach him through it. Mm-hmm. But one of the important things for people to understand going into this, and they're brand new, is if you go through and cut weight, you can't shower. You can't go sit in the pool. You can't cool down. I see all these people will cut weight and then they go and they hang their head under cold water and they sit there for 20 minutes with cold water. All you're doing is shocking your body, right? You're trying to get your temperature down, so you're going to stop sweating, but your body also absorbs that water that's on your body because you're so dehydrated. So you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So you're going to go to weigh-ins. You're going to stink, right? You're going to be miserable, but you can't be pouring water on your head or jumping in the pool or doing whatever stupid shit.
You can do that after.
Yeah.
What's a number that hour before weigh-in? What's a number that not gonna happen? Too high, like you said, the 10 pounds. But is that?
Well, and
just
I mean,
put
it
yourself
depends
as
on the
another
athlete
person?
too. I mean, it's going to depend on like Jaron was talking about. You can kind of see that who can take it mentally, who can't. Like I've worked with athletes that it's like, okay, I've got a 15-pound cut still to finish that day, and we can do it, but don't even talk to them.
Yeah.
Sure.
They look like shit. They feel like shit, and their performance is probably going to suffer. But it's just that how bad do they want it? How bad do they really want to go for it? And if, in my opinion, for me personally, if it's if I'm out, if it's like an hour to the weigh-ins, and you're still over 5 pounds, just take a nap.
Yep.
Well, first of all, I'm just gonna try it on for an episode. I'll come up with a new one for next.
First of all,
motherfuckers. I feel like that where you're lining yourself up for your cut should start more than just the week out. So what I typically do is, obviously you want to set up for this, a month in advance, if not further. Try and get closer to your weight class, but really at least 2 weeks out. For the most part, everybody has some things that they know they can pull out of their diet that are pretty just straightforward, like don't eat cookies and fucking ice cream, right? So
What?
what? But it's powerlifting. I don't understand.
This makes no sense to me.
I need ice cream to do 1 rep. But I'll typically have people cut out the basic shit the first week, and then that really should set us up with having a good idea of, how difficult of a cut and how aggressive we really need to be. Because I have a couple different strategies that I use. One is going to be just the carb manipulation. Then we can look at water loading. Then we can also look at manipulating sodium. Then we can make sure that this isn't doing anything crazy. Then we can, wow. One moment. There we go. Then we can look at, how much we can feed them the day before weigh-ins, and kind of use those things as a last-ditch effort to kind of keep people out of the sauna, because I'd rather have someone not eat carbs for a few days than have to spend time in the sauna or not drinking water. So for me personally, the week before, I like to kind of get everything nice and cleaned up, make sure I'm just eating good quality foods. My carbs are a little bit lower, but I don't like to drive them into the ground because I don't want to be carb depleted for a week and a half. I want to be carb depleted for like 4 days. And then starting on usually Sunday, I'll pull my carbs out and I'll shoot for about a gallon and a half of water. I'll increase that by about a half a gallon every day up until Wednesday. So I usually end at around 2.5 to 3 gallons on Wednesday. During that time, I'm also salting all of my food. Not super aggressively, but I salt everything. That way, on Thursday, when I pull the salt out and I pull the fluids out, I've been accumulating and holding water that entire week, and you start to pee it out faster. So I'll do that. Carbs are 0 at that time, but I do keep my fats up, so I'm not going super low calorie. And then Thursday, I'll pretty much just eat either really light or just nothing at all. I'll do unsalted, like almond butter, a couple times throughout the day with maybe an ounce or so of chicken breast.
you understand how miserable it is to put almond butter in your mouth when you're
fluid.
thirsty?
That's horrible.
No.
It
But
takes
it's
you all
still
day to
it
chew
is still better than the sauna. Yeah, one of the things that I did on my more recent cut that I actually got from Chris Duffin was doing the 24-ounce shitty like white trash beer, like a Coors, as the last fluids.
Hold on. You're calling Coors white trash beer?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Sorry,
Tapping
7-Eleven jersey man.
when you're tapping the Rockies, I don't think
No.
white trash.
No, I don't touch Coors. I could be hammered and turn down a Coors. I would drink Coors over like
You like
Buttermilk,
OE?
but
You don't drink your champagne?
I'm more of a
Coors?
Schlitz guy
He
myself.
likes Zima.
Smirnoff Ice.
Shut up. So I have done that, and that actually worked really well just because the alcohol is a diuretic, so it gets you started peeing pretty early. Plus, if you're already dehydrated, you catch a pretty thorough buzz off of a can of shitty beer.
My problem is I don't think I can stop at 1.
Yeah.
I'd
That
break
was rough.
first
That was
night.
actually the worst thing.
Let's go.
That was the worst thing because it was on a Thursday, and I always end up working the day before I have to make weight. So the whole time I'm sitting
So
there
that makes sense.
being friendly with people, and then it's like this was like, woo! All right, let's cut some weight and spot some people. I was like, I need to go get some gum.
45 minutes later, he's like, fuck, this
Yeah.
sucks.
That's how it was. I was like, this is awesome. I'm gonna do some paperwork. I was like, I really need to go back over to the plaid pantry and get like some breath mints because I can't. It's 2 in the afternoon. I can't do this.
Nothing wrong with that.
Let's talk about, let's get this wrapped up, but we'll talk about what you do post-meet, or post-weigh-in. What do you do to get yourself rejuvenated, ready to compete the next day?
Pedialyte.
Vodka Pedialyte.
Yeah.
Hold on. What did you just say?
I'm just kidding.
It's Pedialyte.
Pedialyte.
Oh, okay.
We
Sorry,
should. We
between
could
him
totally
and then your
fool him
vodka.
into doing some stupid shit.
I know.
Oh yeah, no, you totally.
Yeah, vodka. So it's kind of like a cleanse, but it's like a detox retox.
So yeah, so you're
Lots
done.
of
We
detox.
just start mixing Pedialyte and vodka.
Oh, okay.
And just start going.
You don't
for it.
do that.
You know what I think
that's what you
is
guys
often
do.
overlooked is people don't drink BCAAs right after weighing in. That's the very first thing I drink.
I've never drank BCAAs. That explains why I don't have any world records. What do I do?
I've never heard of BCAAs.
So typically what I do is I already have food going with me. Kind of my go-to after making weight are breakfast burritos. Like I really like those, so I'll pack 2 of those with me. Slam 20 ounces of water with BCAAs, and then I go into half and half water and Pedialyte until one container is gone, and then I drink Gatorade the rest of the day. And then obviously back to salt. I try to salt up everything and just try to retain everything. Typically I feel really good 1 hour after I start consuming food. And if I ever get to a spot where I don't feel good after that 1 hour mark, then I know something's wrong.
Well, I think it's also a real good point to make that when you're immediately coming off of a heavy cut and stuff, don't just do the I'm gonna eat everything.
Yeah,
No.
that's the
'Cause
worst.
I've known some people who've done that, and it's like
They start smashing 2 boxes of donuts after having
Yeah,
not
and
having
it's
had food
you've
in
got to
water.
pace yourself because
And then you start shitting yourself.
Anything. Yeah, you haven't had anything for so long that you got to pace yourself. You don't want to just be like, "Where's those Pop Tarts? I'm gonna eat I'm gonna eat like 3 boxes of Pop Tarts and a dozen donuts and just all these carbs." And I've cut out carbs for so long, and now I'm just carb loading and I'm eating all this crap. And let me chug like 3 gallons of water really quick, and I'm gonna drink all the. And it's like you're.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
I did that at a meet at EPC. I went, spent like $150 at Costco, got all this food. I sat at home and just ate it all. You know, and I'm sitting there miserable. I'm shitting myself every 30 minutes. I'm going and just killing it. And then, but the problem was I wasn't hungry until about 8 hours after the meet.
Yeah.
That was before they had 2-day,
Yeah.
20 or 48-hour long competitions. That was back when they ended at like 5 or 6. So, but later that night, I wouldn't eat till that night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's miserable. You want to space all that out. The idea isn't just to eat every single thing you can.
And for me personally, when I really start going into refeeding after I've done a big cut, I'm gonna start going with like the light Pedialyte, a little bit of water, and then I'm gonna start going into the Gatorade, like Adrian's saying.
Yeah.
And then I'll start adding in a little bit of food, but I still try to keep, I guess you could call it that clean food, because I know I'm gonna be prepping for the next day, so I try to eat a lot more. A little bit of stuff to get me going a little bit now, but then I'm gonna start overloading after that initial hour. I'm gonna go crazy with like just a real protein, like a steak or something, so it's that slower digesting protein to help carry me through the next day of competing. And then like a more complex carbohydrate like a sweet potato or something, and I'm just gonna, I start to eat to the point of I'm going to throw up on everyone. And then it's like, okay, now I'm gonna go pass out.
You can do like the Stand By Me scene,
Yeah.
or eats the blueberry pie.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I go pass out, and then when I wake up in the morning, I might have a little bit of eggs or something, but I still keep it really light. And then I pretty much don't eat the day of the contest because I tried to eat as much as I could that night.
Yeah.
And but it's not immediately after the weigh-in. I'm just gonna jump on. Let's go eat everything because you're just gonna feel like crap. So it's slowly start to build it back up, and kind of what I try to do is eat the entire time. And not like big portions, but just spread out my eating.
Yeah, if you eat too much all at once, and I've had that happen, you just smash down as much food as you can. You're not hungry for 5-6 hours, and you can't get that food down that you could otherwise. So I always try to tell people to kind of alternate. You know, if you are going to eat some junk, that's fine, because you do want the simple carbs. You do want you want to get that shit in just to kind of put weight back on you. But I like to have them alternate, you know, a good quality actual meal, then have some junk. Another good quality meal, have some junk. That way you're not just eating garbage. Because I think a big thing that people don't pay enough attention to is you can't expect your body to perform optimally on a day's worth of eating shit when that's not how you've trained and those aren't the foods that have served you well in the past. So if you normally eat pretty decent, but then you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna now eat just like 3 bags of Doritos and then a box of cookies and then, you know, some Gatorade and Pedialyte. Why am I not performing my best? It's because you fueled yourself in a way that you don't normally
What if that's
do.
your normal diet?
If you normally eat like
I was gonna
shit,
say, if you're somebody
then,
like me, who usually just shovels that shit in.
then you do a juice cleanse from Advocare. And that pretty much negates all of that.
Right.
You fill that with a little bit of Pio, maybe some hip hop abs, and you're going to be shredded in 12 weeks.
I
You
got
just
some
gotta go
old,
paleo too.
I got some old Tybo VHS.
Oh, Billy Blanks, yeah.
So anybody that's listening, if they want to get some advice on helping
Do you
cut
do
weight,
online coaching for...
So I've looked into being an online coach, and let me tell you, I'm only $35 away from making I took the practice test and guessed and got 80%.
I know people
You don't
that
have to
could,
take a test.
I know people you could Facebook message and be an online coach now.
You know a world
Let's
record
do
holder?
it. Hey, if you guys want some coaching, message me. All right, I know a world record holder. I know these two guys.
He'll teach you how to swallow protein.
I come to without gagging.
All right, let's talk about the most recent controversy on Facebook. We need to get this wrapped up.
Yep.
The IPA meat.
Did you hear about it?
Oh, of course you did, because you haven't been on Instagram or Facebook for the
No.
last freaking
I'm
week.
pretty sure I've seen your like page-long hashtags like 6 times
Yeah,
yesterday.
damn, dude, those all the time.
If I didn't know the strategy behind it, I was like, this guy does nothing. But you're like, oh, I have on my hashtag saved. I was like, that's brilliant. I still haven't done it.
Yeah, I have them all saved on a notepad,
okay.
so I can just copy and paste them.
Well,
This is not about
That's
your
pretty smart.
hashtags.
There's a little bit of controversy
villain.
right now about some world records being broken, and maybe not some parallel squats, or maybe people maybe not making weight. Whoever ran that meet, I'm just gonna say, if you jeopardize powerlifting, then you can go fuck yourself. You're a piece of shit. If you didn't make weight and you lied about what weight class you're in, I mean that's really ridiculous. But I wasn't there and I didn't see any of it, so I'm not gonna say I think a squat was high, or I'm not sure you made 275, or whatever the case is. I wasn't there and I didn't see it. I'm not one to judge somebody just based on seeing stuff on the internet, but hopefully it was done correctly. You hear all this stuff about it now, it not being sanctioned, and all this stuff that's happening. Hopefully whoever makes those decisions makes the right decision, because to jeopardize an all-time record or jeopardize where powerlifting is would be stupid just for one competition.
Right.
So when you say they lied about their weight class, now how is that possible with
So
competition?
some of the it's possible.
I mean, you get
I-
on the
let's
scale.
say-
I
Imagine,
mean,
imagine
the
a
scale says
scenario.
numbers,
Imagine a
somebody write it
scenario in
down.
which the meet was held at their home gym.
Gotcha.
Jaron is going to weigh me in, and maybe
Yeah.
I say I want to be 181, not 240.
Gotcha.
And then he hops on, and I was like, close enough. And then we just, that's all.
Oh,
we did.
270 sounds
There's
good. When
there's
is
been
it?
rumors before that it's happened, right?
Yeah.
Like buddies will host a comp and then say, yeah, you're right about there. Quit cutting weight, you're good. But there's all rumors, right? Nothing's really ever
Yeah.
surfaced as being for sure.
Right.
Hopefully that it didn't happen here. I think the cool thing about Eric is that he's a super strong guy, and he's not going away, right?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be difficult for him to hit
Come
the
back and do the
275
same
again
again.
and do it again.
Yeah.
So if it was somebody at the end of their career, or maybe they're saying, hey, this is just my last meet and I'm going to retire, it'd be different. But Eric's going to be around forever, and he'll be able to do this again.
Well, that's kind of it too, and like with a lot of the people calling his squat high, I'll pull the video up here in a second. It's very questionable. I've not seen a video that actually straight up shows the depth. We should get cameras in powerlifting. That would be hard to figure out. But because all the videos I've seen are at off angles, and it's really hard to judge, and it could be good. I know compared to the other squats that I've seen from him, it's high relative to those. Because I've never looked at one of his squats and had any question in my mind of whether he hit depth. This is the first one where it's like, maybe not. So, I mean, for that, sure, but that's not on him. That's on, the judges and the people running the meet. It shouldn't be on the lifter if they cut the lift off high. They're not the ones that are there to make sure that it was a good lift in the first place. So I think there's a lot of misappropriated judgment going on. Because everybody's coming down on him and the rest of the Lillibridges, when for the most part most of their lifting has always been right on point. And they've lifted in multiple federations. They've lifted on international platforms. It's not like they've just been lifting at their home gym at these meets for all of their careers.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like we're talking about them putting a bench press shirt on underneath their singlet and benching raw.
I only did that once.
I know. It isn't, to me, these guys are going to be around forever, and I think they're going to keep going.
Yeah.
They'll be able to prove that this was all legit.
Well, I mean,
Well,
that's the other thing was, like, they've, as Jaren's saying, they've competed all over the world. They've done meets all over the place. So
They're not just hiding in their gym.
Yeah, they don't just stay at their home gym. They only hit big numbers at their home gym. They actually go out and hit big numbers all over the place.
Well, I feel like the fact that, because I don't remember the guy's name, but there was a multiply squat I saw from this weekend too that was easily 3 or 4 inches high. It was like Dave Hoff style. But I feel like the fact that the entire meet was thrown out should be enough proof that this is on the people running the meet and on the judges and not just on the little bridges themselves.
Well, so how about while you bring up that video, let's do some plugs out of the way. Jeff, any upcoming events, anything you want to let people know about, where they can find you?
There's just that the Might Makes Right XBC powerlifting meet, Linwood, Washington. That's coming up in August 29th, I believe it is. Then you can find me at Inner Beast CrossFit, coaching, yelling at people, making people hate their lives, and making them better for it. Like I always tell my athletes, you're going to hate everything about training, but if you survive through it, you'll be stronger when you come out the other side. You can follow me on the Instagrams and all that.
Instagrams?
Yeah, and the Twitter here.
Though you say it like horribly wrong. I gotta say it. You gotta follow this guy on Instagram. He puts up a lot of really good photos. He's on there way too often.
He posts like 6 times a day.
At least that's a rough day. But you always got good posts up there. You got good stuff, so that's a good one.
And I try to showcase my athletes a lot too, and showing their progress and what they're doing. So it's not just me always being like, look at me pose in front of a mirror. I'm always trying to showcase what everybody else is doing too. And so you can follow me on @Ragnavok, RAGNAVOK. I'm on Twitter. I don't do Twitter very much, but I try to every once in a while. And then
is your Twitter like mine, where it will lead you to your Instagram account?
Yeah. And then I do the YouTubes. The Ragnavok.
Stop saying the YouTube.
No, that's I say that with all the comments. But you can just come find me on the YouTubes.
Check out Ragnar Cock on Cock Talk.
And I try to post up little fun videos and stuff, and just keep things entertaining. And just find me under Jeff Pearson on the Facebooks.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, Adrian. What about you? You got any upcoming events coming?
Yeah, we're me and Jaren are hosting a seminar at Dragon Fitness in Vancouver, August 1st, and then we're hosting the first UPA in the state of Oregon, September 19th.
It's going to be much more exciting than Adrian makes it sound. We have a meet coming up. It's going to
be fun.
Well, it's September. You got a couple weeks.
It'll be the first UPA meet.
I ran out of coffee, so I'm like,
where can people find you at then?
Send a smoke signal.
There you go, smoke signal.
To the Alpha Project.
Rape whistle works pretty well too.
Yeah.
So I'll help him out with that. Alpha_project on Instagram and Twitter, or go to his website, alphaprojecttraining.org. You can get all good info there. Jaron, you got anything coming up?
I have a UPA meet here at San. We've got the UPA meet coming up September 19th. It'll be the first UPA meet in the state of Oregon. We are giving away sponsorships to the top lifters from
A free
Gen X
cleanse,
Labs.
too. We're
A
gonna do
free juice cleanse from Josh. He'll even teach you how to administer it rectally.
Yeah.
We've got prize money on the line. Hopefully, if there's some left over after we pay for everything. We're going to have food. We're going to have drinks. We're going to have CT Fletcher.
Yep. I'll be there.
Probably, if not, I'll grow a beard. I could probably do a good impression.
Can you grow a beard?
I can't. So we'll save this for another episode. But I have a story about that.
Oh, you have a story about the beard? Okay.
So all those
Look
things
for
are
it.
coming up.
Tune in next time to hear about the story about a beard.
Where can they find you at?
Yeah, I'm doing a seminar in
August
Washington.
Sorry.
You can find me.
Maybe.
I'll be there.
If I let you.
Whatever.
Anyway, we're doing a show here.
Adrian's gonna teach people how to squat in Washington. Okay, screw you then.
I can do it.
All right,
Find me on Facebook, Jaron Carriage, JeronKerridge. Instagram at JeronKerridge. You can Google JeronKerridge Kerrri.
God, you forgot how to spell your fucking name.
Watermelon. Can you spell watermelon?
Anyway, we don't need to call
WATRMELON. Watermelon. You can also find me on YouTube. Just pull up Savage Gym or online at www.savagegym.com.
I have nothing going on, but you can follow me on Twitter.
No shit.
Or you can look out at the local Black Pantry. This fucker will be sent out there at 7 a.m. with a tall boy
Josh,
and a
you
bag of
post
Doritos.
A lot of when you get your new Secret War comic books.
Right.
There.
Anytime I get my comics, I got up reading the Secret Wars. I post those up. Later today, you'll see the picture of Brian Posehn's autograph on my comic book I got yesterday.
Oh my God.
Well, hey, some of us don't live in a gym, so.
Hey, I live in a gym, but I still.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
Hey, first of all, I'm in between homes right now.
Is that why there's a sleeping bag over there?
I'll save that story for the next one, too.
All right, make sure to look at it. Check us out on YouTube also, though. Chalk Talk page on there.
Oh, yeah, that.
We have a lot of really good videos going up. Adrian's doing a new Alpha Minute. You'll see some rescue bench, rescue lifts.
Lift rescue.
Lift rescue.
God damn it.
I'm done.
Well, you guys don't fucking call me when you do these videos. All of a sudden, I see a bunch get posted up on the internet, and so.
Sorry, we're hanging out with Russians.
Ooh. Oh man, we're done talking.
We're done.
I don't got shit else to say.
All
to
right,
you.
suck it. We're finished.
All right.
That's what we're gonna do.